All right, today we're diving into something, well, it's pretty fascinating and maybe even a little unsettling. We're talking about the modern phenomenon of how our very identities are being packaged, performed, and sold. And we're going to take you on a journey that starts with a pop superstar and ends in your grocery cart.
It sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? One the world could possibly connect a global pop star to your weekly shopping trip. Well, the answer is branding. But not just any branding. We're talking about a really powerful trend that shows how an image is built from the ground up, and how we as consumers totally buy into it. So, to really see how this works, let's kick things off with a case study straight from the world of celebrity.
This quote, wow, it really gets right to the heart of it. It's describing the very recent and very deliberate public image makeover of Ariana Grande. See, right in the middle of a big public controversy, there was this massive, noticeable shift in how she was presenting herself to the world.
And just look at this slide. The contrast is pretty stark, right? On the left, you've got our old persona, cutesy, overtly sexualized, and on the right, the new one, demure, fragile, like a little China doll. Now, this is not a random change. This is a calculated pivot from one powerful archetype to a completely different one, and it's all designed to control the public narrative. But here's the thing. This isn't just about one pop star. Oh no, this strategy is a well-worn playbook in the celebrity world, where public life becomes one big, constant marketing opportunity.
And there are few people who do this more effectively than Blake Lively. She is a prime example of someone who treats every single public moment, doesn't matter if she's promoting a film, a drink, or a beauty product, as another chance to build her personal brand.
Okay, just take this moment right here. She's in an interview for a really serious film, one that deals with abuse, and the conversation is just expertly pivoted to her own alcohol brand.
And then boom, just moments later, it's a totally seamless transition over to her hair care company. You start to see the pattern, right? The actual project she's there to talk about suddenly takes a back seat to the products she has to sell.
And listen to the language here, the constant repetition of I and my. It turns even these big, collaborative projects into something that feels like it's all about her. The work itself just becomes another vehicle for the personal brand.
In this pattern, it goes way beyond just products. It's about relationships too. I mean, from the carefully marketed Blake and Ryan show to Taylor Swift's Girl Squad, which literally turned friendships into a kind of commodity, personal identity itself has become this managed, marketable asset.
But this whole phenomenon isn't just a Hollywood thing, not at all. In fact, what celebrities are doing is tapping into something much broader. So let's shift gears from celebrity branding to the social roles and stereotypes that, we all have to navigate.
And that really brings up a critical question, doesn't it? Is this branding culture just for celebrities picking and choosing a new look, or does it actually say something deeper about the pre-packaged identities our society offers up to all of us?
Before a celebrity can even pick a persona, society kind of hands them a menu of options. We call these social archetypes. Just think about that classic princess archetype we talked about earlier. That ideal of being sweet and passive and, docile, silent, and childlike. It's a pre-packaged identity that has shaped generations of people.
But these pre-packaged roles, they aren't the whole story. Not by a long shot. To see what a real alternative looks like, check out this Hebrew term, ezer kenegdo. It offers a completely different model of partnership, one that's based on constructive opposition, not just passive agreement. It's a really powerful reminder that beyond these simple, marketable archetypes, there are always more complex and dynamic ways of being.
So how does all this connect back to your world? Well, let's take a look at how commercial brands sell us not just products, but little pieces of an identity.
Okay, to really get this, we need to talk about a little psychological technique called priming. It's basically when brands use sensory cues, like a specific smell in a store or the fancy feel of the packaging, to make you connect their product with a feeling, like luxury or wellness. And the high-end grocery store Erewhon, they are absolute masters of this.
So here's their playbook step by step. First, they hit you with those sensory cues, like their signature store scents. Second, they build status by making sure they're a hotspot for celebrities. And third, the product itself becomes an accessory, a status symbol that helps you perform a certain kind of identity.
And this is the ultimate result. A $20 smoothie gets totally transformed. It's not a drink anymore. It's a fashion accessory. It's a public statement about your status, your health, and your place in the culture right now.
And the financial result of that is, well, it's staggering. That one smoothie reportedly brings in
$100,000 a month. That is the power of selling an identity.
So, after all of that, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean?
It really shows us that from the personas of pop stars like Ariana Grande to the social archetypes we're all handed, all the way down to the very items in our shopping carts, we are constantly navigating a world where identity is something to be packaged, performed, and ultimately sold.
And this all leaves us with a timeless thought from the philosopher Parmenides. Appearance is not actuality. In a world that's saturated with brands and personas, the line between what's real and what's just a performance is blurrier than it has ever been. So the real question for us is, how do we find what's actual?